We lived over in Fort Dodge at the time. My dad had started off coaching small schools, southwest Iowa, and then kind of moved to Fort Dodge in 1968. Coached there for 5 years, very successful. He had coached for 16 years, had his master's degree, 4 kids. I'm getting ready to go to Iowa Central. I've got twin sisters that are 20 months behind me, so in 2 years they're going to be going. He's making $13,300 a year, and he's trying to figure out how he's going to make this all work. Through the YMCA in Fort Dodge, he ran into a couple young guys that had come from UNI, had played football there, John Lancaster and Larry Clement, and he started talking to them. And they said, well, why don't you come sell cars for us in the summer? So he did that and was very successful at it, to the point that they offered him the sales manager's job if he quit coaching. He had to finish out that season. Then he did that for about 1.5 years and figured out everything he needed to know about the car business. So then he started looking around places that were available. July 1st of 1975 is when opened the doors. You know, there wasn't much inventory when we got here. I think the dealership on an average had sold about 19 or 20 vehicles a month, and Dad wanted to get it up to 50, 60, 70 units a month. And we got there fairly quickly and had some success.
I feel like Dale got into the car business as a way that he could still continue to coach people and then find a better way to provide for his family and provide some more opportunities that way. And so that was really his background, and it was his, he was so big in investing in people, and that was his way. He could do that through this business and now, again, provide more opportunities for his family.
Dale was just a person with a lot of imagination, and he never saw a problem but what it couldn't be corrected or overcome.
He would give you the shirt off his back. I mean, he was just the kindest person, would do anything for you. Was hard, made you work, which he worked himself, so he was not afraid of hard work, and he expected people around him to be the same.
Dale was a type A personality all the way. He was a coach till the day he died, whether it was coaching players out on the floor or coaching all of us employees on how to get better, how to interact with people better, how to have a strong work ethic, how to show up.
Dale was, a coach most of his life, and so he always saw the potential in the people here, and definitely had a huge impact on me and pushing me to be the best I could be.
I just remember being a little girl and being around town and running into Dale Howard. Like, that's Dale Howard. Like, he was just an icon in this town. Everybody knew who he was. He was always so kind to everybody. I feel like if you go into the dictionary and you look at the word kindness, you're gonna find the Howard family. They're just all so kind, and it's just amazing to me that they've been able to work as a family together for 50 years, because I think that'd be tough, especially father-son. So I think it says a lot about them that they've been able to accomplish that, and it's really cool. It's really cool to be a part of it.
I think it was great for my dad to be there on day one. He started on day one with Dale, and so he knew what it took. He knew the work that was involved. They say anytime that you've started a business and you go to transition out of being the primary owner, it's almost like you're losing a child. And so it was tough for him. And when he got sick the first time, I think that in some ways helped, because it forced him to take a step back. Luckily, my dad was in a position at that time that he was a very strong and capable leader and able to take it and run with it. And that adds a lot of comfort for somebody, I believe, in my grandpa's position to see, okay, we're good here. I don't have to worry about are things in a good place, and it isn't. Obviously, my dad was a key part of that, but the team that he and my grandpa had built around him It's so much about the people, and they just both did a great job of continuing, as we've grown over the 50 years, of continuing to invest in the people that we have and giving them the tools that they need to be able to do their jobs well, which is serving people.
They're always for do whatever's right, and we're behind you. So, and that's something that's, you either do that or you don't. That's not something you teach people to do. They either do the right thing or they don't, so, and that's been pretty important. If there was ever an issue or a problem, we always work through it as a team and, do whatever's right for the customer and what's right in your heart.
Once you've been here a little while, you really do start to feel part of the Howard family. That's just the kind of people they are. They make you feel that way. Dale was like a second father to me, so I had a really strong connection with Dale. He's the one that really, got me started up through the ranks. And set clear expectations for all of us as well. Very clear expectations.
Adversity is part of life, right? And I think you grow from those experiences and how to fight through and not just roll over and give up. I think that's very, very key. Then the farm crisis hit, late 70s, early 80s. And I still remember the Memorial Weekend of 1980, because it was right before our son Tony was born. And my dad and I sitting in his office till about 2 o'clock in the morning on that Sunday and trying to decide whether or not we were going to be able to keep the store open. And ultimately decided to try and grind it out. And there was a moment that I'll never, ever forget. It was the 3rd of August. A good friend of mine, by the name of Rocky Weaver. Rocky was a very, very successful businessman here in Iowa Falls. He calls me up and he said, "Howie, I think I need to buy 7 Caprice Classics for our staff." I kind of choked a little bit and I said, "You got it." So found out what they needed and we got them lined up, and that really kind of turned the tide for us. And not that we haven't had tough times since then, but that really turned the corner for us. It was unique in 1989 to pair up Ford and Chevrolet. There was only one other one of those in the state of Iowa, and that didn't survive. And then to have both under the same building. Then in the year 2000, to buy the other dealership in town that had all the other domestic lines and bring them here, and to have all of them under one roof was unheard of, still is unheard of to this day.
As we added the other franchises, as we purchased Beckman Ford here in town and then Doug Daniel Autoland, everyone thinks you just hang more signs out front, but that's not the case. You have to add people, and then there's an incredible amount of training that goes along with that to learn each manufacturer's unique ways of doing business.
I think the other thing my dad probably doesn't give himself enough credit for, and maybe he does, but the hard work and the sacrifice. A lot of people think you just show up and it works. And that's just not the case. It's a lot of hours. When they first got started, they were open from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 to 6 on Saturdays. He had to sacrifice missing out on some of the things that my sister and I participated in as we were growing up. There was a lot of times that, whether it was a family reunion or something like that, hey, somebody's got to work. Somebody's got to be at the store. And so that's something that he definitely took the reins on. And it was never I'm the owner's son, so I get the pass. No, I'm also an owner, and I've got the pride. This is what it takes. This is what we're going to do in order to make this thing go.
You think back in those days, the lack of technology that was in place at that time. And the ag economy has all done a very, very good job of implementing any technology that becomes available. Early on, when we wanted to do a dealer trade with another dealer and they wanted to find out what we had, or we wanted to find out what they had, we got a weekly, Chevrolet would send us who has what inventory. Well, that was usually about a month behind real data. And then I started getting on phone calls, the other dealers would ask me, well, just fax me what you have. I said, what? Well, fax machine. I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. So that became more prevalent. So I went to my dad and said, hey, we really need to get a fax machine. He said, you always want the latest and greatest in technology. Because he had no idea, right? And so then within about 2 months, we had a fax machine. And then, the internet's invented and it just kind of goes from there. One thing that really, I think, helped our store, we got a little bit of a head start on it. I was selected to serve on an advisory board for General Motors about how they were going to market vehicles on the internet. So to be in on those meetings with really big dealers and the gurus from General Motors was really, really valuable. And so, brought that and implemented a lot of things here in the store.
There's constantly a new program or a new something that's out there, chasing the shiny new thing. We want to make sure we keep who we are, who Dale Howard, how we got started, our core values. We got to keep that in mind with all the things that we do. But at the same time, we have to recognize that people's expectations of the service that they're going to get has changed over the years. And so we've got to change with that too. And I can't imagine having a conversation with my grandfather where we say, hey, we're going to meet somebody online and then we're going to ship a car out to them and we'll exchange money through a wire transfer. And oh, by the way, they've got a trade and it'll all work out. I mean, it just that concept, it just never, business was always done face to face and with a handshake. And today, we don't always get that opportunity. We prefer it because that's where we think we truly shine, is when we get the opportunity to create that connection. But there are people, we've shipped cars all over the country. I know we've sent one to Hawaii, several to Washington State, down to Florida. Not all those people fly into Iowa Falls to pick up their cars and drive them home. So we've got to find ways that we can still meet those people's expectations. And so that innovation piece is challenging, but some of the things that we think are really important for us to continue to grow and be able to serve people to the best of our abilities is also changing our expectations of what we want to provide. If we continue to raise our level of expectations of ourselves, we're going to do a better job serving the customer.
We have the special tools needed, we have the diagnostic equipment needed to take care of their car better than anybody else in town can.
Super proud, couldn't be more proud to be able part of this team. They do so many good things for the community and for their employees. There's so many different opportunities that I've gotten to be part of just for being here. And it's just super cool to be able to be part of that. And I couldn't imagine working somewhere else.
It was my dad's philosophy that if it was good for Iowa Falls, it was going to be good for us. If it was good for Hardin County, it would be good for us. If it was good for the University of Iowa or Iowa State or Northern Iowa, it would ultimately be good for us. So I think that kind of led that way of thinking and allow for the philanthropy to start taking place.
There's just so many causes out there. There's a few that we've become very passionate about and we throw a lot of our support behind. The communities that we're in obviously is a big part of that. And then there's some other causes that are more maybe nationally or or otherwise, but it's important to us. I also believe it helps us attract like-minded customers and like-minded team members.
And it's not only money. I mean, it's been a lot of time. Dad served on multiple boards with Ellsworth College and the Area Development Group. Also headed up fundraising for several activities. I was on the hospital board and board chair for 16 years to make sure that goes. Still involved on different boards, not only in Iowa Falls, but elsewhere. And Tony's taken that step to another level, being on a board at Hawkeye Community College. He's on the state board for American Cancer Society, and his wife as well. So, and my wife, my gosh, she taught for 26 years, and then she started getting into mentoring, and she has her own food pantry that she stocks in town. And those are the things that I think you just really proud of.
I was in the room when Dale said, hey, this is what we're going to do. Hey, we are going to have a Coaches versus Cancer effort in the state of Iowa with the 4 Division I head coaches. And he got up, we had just gotten done with a golf event. And there were the right people were in the room, and he knew it. And he got up in front, and it wasn't necessarily part of that day. But Dale got up in front of the room and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Right? We're going to start Coaches versus Cancer. We're going to have all 4 Division I schools involved in it. We're going to raise as much money as we can. We're going to raise awareness, and we're going to do everything we can to have an impact on getting rid of cancer. And he talked through it, and somebody kind of raised their hand. He said, you know what, you can put your hand down. I'm not taking any questions. I said, this is what we're doing. Right? I'm not sure exactly how and all the details, but we're going to do it. The state of Iowa is going to have a Coaches versus Cancer event with all 4 schools. So I don't need any questions. Hey, we'll get together on the phone after this, and you guys can work out the details, but we're going to do it. And then one of my fondest memories of being around Dale, and I think really, of course, speaks to his determination and his passion, and when he sets his mind to something, it's going to get done.
And without Dale's vision to make this come through, we would not be sitting where we are today in our 18th year, raising over $7.5 million to fund that mission. When I think about what he's done for our organization and so many other amazing organizations and just the communities in general, I think about the passion and commitment he had to giving back, and it's just astounding. He made it one of his priorities, and he, I truly believe that the world is a better place because of what he's done. He's the values he has, and the fact that he's instilled that into so many people that he's met through the years is just completely amazing to see come to fruition. And for us, it's really how it's carried out through the family. The family continues to be part of the event, even though Dale's been gone. The impact that they continue to make, the fact that I had the opportunity to work with Dale in these efforts, I know it has become my mission to continue to carry out his legacy and to make sure we're doing everything we can every day to fight cancer.
I've been lucky enough to see the transitional leadership through those 3 generations, from Dale to his son Steve, and then to Tony. And they each had their own style, but I think with each transition, our organization got stronger too, because they each brought something a little different to the table.
I think he'd be very proud. Of not only are we continuing to grow, but we're doing it in the way that we started. We've kept with our foundation, with our roots. One of the things that he used to always say is, profit's not a dirty word, but he always followed that up with, the more we make, the more we can give. And that's a huge part of what we're about. We believe we show up every day and we add value for people. We'll get to continue to do it over and over again, and we can keep adding value for people in different ways, with our time, with our talents, and obviously with our dollars as well.
There's so many places that don't see 50 years. And knowing that it's not like we've peaked, we're continuing to grow. And even though I won't be here for another 50 years, I'm hoping that we see that 100 years. And it just continues to get bigger and bigger and do better things for the community.
The active players are in the dealership. You see Tony regularly, you see Steve almost every single day. And so you not only have the legacy of Dale and what he built, you also have Steve and Tony here contributing as well. And so when someone comes in with an issue, problem, concern, say, I want to talk to the boss, I want to talk to the big man, they're here. They're here and available to talk to. And if they're not, they're a cell phone call away, and they're willing to talk to and work with anybody. And so that is a huge benefit to having those guys on site, is for just that customer relationships that they have.
Having all that 50 years of experience really allows us to hit the ground running and build something that we know will stay in the test of time. And it's really proud to be part of an organization that has that kind of commitment.
It all boils down to the core values that Tony and his family have set in stone for this business. You know, the teamwork, being together as a team, authentic, being genuine to ourselves and the customers and the company, you know, and the drive to come it's not a job, it's a career. Being able to work for Dale Howard, it's a career change, and it's a privilege. And then, you know, we get opportunity and giving back, and they do really well on that. So those are the cornerstones of the foundation of this business, and it's going to make Dale Howard be up on the building. The name is going to be on the building for a lot of years to come.
The leadership team have that shared vision. It's something that Tony's put out there of this is something he wants to do, and he is really great at just kind of getting everybody behind that vision. We all believe in it. He's motivated and is willing to continue to put in the money, continue to put in the work. There was a stretch there where he was here 6-7 days a week working 10, 11, 12-hour days. So when you see somebody like that who is so dedicated to what this vision is, it makes it really easy to jump on board.
Sometimes it's just unreal. It's like, where did that time go? You know, it was just like in a blink of an eye. And it's crazy. It's just plain crazy to think it's been 50 years. It just doesn't seem possible. And just the changes and just how successful they've been, and to be successful not only in the business, but in the community.
Oh my goodness. I am over and above proud. It's a good story. A story of success, hard work, and that's the key.